This one is called Black Ops 6 is Kind of Lying. I don't know what it's about, but it's Jev, and oddly, he doesn't have a face cam.
I don't know how many more kills I need in order to get the challenge done for this, but I don't know how many more kills I need in order to get the challenge done for this, but I haven't played the past couple days.
You get those kills, Jev. Oh, they're all right there.
Exclusive Ace made a video a few days ago, actually, talking about the prestige system in Black Ops 6.
I made a video like this too.
It being the classic prestige system, but this prestige system is technically slightly different overall than the classic prestige system, mostly because of the...
We know what this is going to be about now. This is going to be about the fact that you can purchase bundles or purchase battle pass and have permanent unlocks even if you're prestiging. That's what this is going to be about.
Design of Call of Duty. Before, we didn't have all these battle passes and all these different paid things. I mean, at most, the things that I can remember was paying for like those $5 or $3 camos over on Black Ops 2 back when we were still prestiging. I'm gonna try my best to prestige as much as I possibly can, but it is a worry as I'm prestiging that somehow it's gonna end up slowing down my overall progression for all of my grinding. Basically, I'm not going to prestige if it's gonna get in the way, but I'm gonna prestige at first for sure. So before, it was like super simple whenever you were prestiging.
So this is what you think one of the problems with Black Ops 6 is going to be. You're going to have your people who want to play Black Ops 6 and prestige all the way, and then you're going to have your Warzone people who don't want to prestige and are going to get bored because of it. So I want to be clear. The way to fix this is by incentivizing with good incentives. Like, for example, something they could do, they won't, but what they could do is each prestige, you unlock a new weapon. And that the only way to get those weapons is prestiging. They won't do this. I want to be clear, they will not do this. Because it would take too long for too many people and people just wouldn't be able to get them. But there needs to be something that incentivizes people to do that. Because otherwise, what's the point, right?
You know, you just grind the game out. You wouldn't even have that many different like challenges out there that were like really complex in comparison to how we have it in the more modern games. There were still challenges and stuff out there that weren't required for a lot of the camo challenges. A lot of it was as simple as you either get headshots or regular kills, and it stopped right there. You level up from 1 to 55, and then you would do that 10 times, and then if the game had a master prestige, you would be able to hit max prestige, 10th prestige, and then you would be able to go past 55. Now that sounds like the exact same thing that we're supposed to be getting for this. Black Ops 6, they're saying that, you know, the classic prestige is back. We'll be able to now hit, you know, level 55 10 times, and then you end up getting to the master prestige rank.
I'm not sure whether or not it's a prestige shop or just prestige menus there, Phoenix. From what I have heard, it's not a prestige shop. Like, there will be permanent unlock tokens with every prestige. But from what I am hearing, I believe that it's more so like prestige challenges, prestige menus, prestige rewards. I don't know about a shop. But again, is that going to be a big enough incentive for people to actually prestige every time?
The thing is, the way that the game is set up now monetarily, we have more things that we can basically be locked out of in comparison to what we did before. We basically have more things now, though, that we end up losing whenever we prestige, because there are many more things that we can buy now in comparison to when we used to be able to buy things. So, it is the classic prestige system, but there is a small asterisk here. It's even going as far as for some people to go and call it pay to win, but I don't necessarily agree that it's completely pay to win. The word winning is kind of...
It's not pay to win. It's pay for access.
In a different way. Winning in terms of what?
I don't like that either.
Winning in terms of getting better weapons, winning in terms of completing challenges quicker and getting your camo grind done faster, winning as in getting the overpowered weapon or just any weapon before you're supposed to unlock it. So Exclusive Ace pointed out that basically Activision had to make a choice here. Whenever they added this classic prestige system back into the game, which I think this is part of the reason why they didn't put it in the game before. It's just part of the reason.
I think the real reason why they didn't put it in is Warzone.
But we talked about this stuff for years. But part of the reason is the fact that whenever you go in prestige, the idea is that it's supposed to lock everything all over again. Everything is supposed to be relocked and you're supposed to grind back through it. That was the point of the entire grind. And then whenever you saw somebody do it 10 times, you're like, damn, that guy is grinded. The thing is, this is a classic prestige system. It's still within the modern model that we have now. So all of the items, all the stores, all that stuff is still all there. Now what's gonna happen is, though, whenever you go in prestige and say somebody went and bought a bundle, from what we understand, if you were to go and buy a weapon or a bundle that has a certain weapon in it, and say that that weapon is unlocked at level 55, if you buy a bundle with that weapon is now perma unlocked. And I didn't want to have to wait until
the base variant as well.
Level 55 to start working on the camo challenges because I don't have.
That's not pay to win. It's not pay for access. What is that pay for? It's pay for something. I just don't know what it is pay
to level the
for.
weapon up. I just need access to the weapon. I could just simply buy a bundle with those late game weapons and items in there to permanently unlock them, even if I prestige. So in a sense, that undermines the entire reason for prestiging in the first place, because you're not actually losing a lot of the items, or you could just make it so you can permanently unlock them just by paying for it, thus taking a lot of the challenge out. Now, given it's only part of the challenge, I wouldn't go as far to say that it's pay to win, but I think—
Hold up, let me read this. It's not Treyarch's fault, it's Activision's fault for implementing the entire bundle system in the first place. Treyarch has to make classic prestige system fair, set in stone. So, okay. Let's make this plain and simple. Let me ask you this in a very, very simple way. Okay, you get rid of the bundle system. Microtransactions are here to stay. And let's be honest, supply drops were worse. So what system would you rather have other than bundles? You can't just say nothing. You have to pick something. What is a better system?
that the players that go and buy the bundles will absolutely be at more of an advantage than people that cannot go and buy those bundles or do not. And by advantage,
DLCs?
I mostly mean—
No, because the problem with no, we've proven that DLCs are not the correct microtransaction thing. Because DLCs just divide the community and make it, if you buy the DLCs, it's 100 times sweatier. So we've known that DLCs are not the preferred model. It is much better for the community to have free DLCs all year round. So no, that one's off the table.
Just the overall camel grind. We don't usually have situations in this game where people are complaining about, oh man, this guy has this blueprint. At no point when I played this game or see in comment sections where people sit there and complain about somebody going and buying a specific bundle for a weapon. I've never seen somebody die to a certain weapon from a bundle and go, ah, of course he bought that bundle. At no point did I ever see that. At most, I saw maybe like people, what the fuck? I saw people talk about the pay to win aspects for like if a certain outfit is more difficult to see in the dark or something like that. But in terms of buying a bundle and then just getting a blueprint here, I've never heard anybody complain about people being able to get access to a blueprint before other people and then say that's unfair. Maybe like a day one thing or something like that.
Yeah, so that is where the issue comes into play, right? Is that I think for games like Warzone where people are going to level up a little bit slower, it's just going to be like, okay, so do you have a weapon that you really like to use that's hard to unlock? Okay, we'll just buy a bundle. It's frustrating because it's incentivizing more people to buy things. That's why I said it's not pay to win. It's kind of pay for access, but I don't know. Like if I was to simplify it down to pay for something that people are uncomfortable with, I don't know what that last word would be.
Is like the most of the complaints that I've ever heard. But basically though, again, if you go and buy a bundle, you will be able to unlock those weapons permanently. Think of it like this. I know that a lot of people are thinking like, typical Activision. I shit on them all the time. You guys already know. If you think of it from Activision's perspective of what they should do in this scenario, obviously they're going to keep their store up, right? And obviously they're trying their best to appease people with the classic prestige system. We're finally going to be rid of this annoying, boring, shallow, almost meaningless leveling system that we have in the game
meaningless,
at the moment,
I agree.
for the past, I don't know, 4 years or so. Imagine you were somebody that bought a bundle and then you go and prestige and then you lose access to a bundle that you paid for. I feel like Activision doesn't want to go and deal with the possibility of people getting really angry and upset that their blueprint or the weapon of the blueprint is completely locked because they decided to prestige. So I think that this is where they decided, okay, this makes the most sense monetarily for us. Ethical, I wouldn't say is the right word. It's Activision, you know what I mean? But even if the player is the one that's technically locking them, I can totally see a situation where typical dads, they go and buy something and then they finally end up prestiging after some point in time, and then they don't have enough time to go and level up and prestige again, and then they can't get access to some of their favorite weapons or whatever it was that they ended up buying, so then they just straight up quit the game altogether and then complain.
Like Jev's not wrong here.
That Activision is like locking their items. I don't know, you could just see how people can spin it, you know what I mean? So I think that on top of the fact that it would just incentivize people to buy more bundles, it is in a way understandable why they're doing it this way. In the same vein that people will call this pay to win, I think that it absolutely is like more pay for convenience as opposed to win. Then you would have to define what win.
Yeah, pay for convenience isn't a bad one there, Jev.
Means in Call of Duty. Winning doesn't fucking matter. I see people in the comments all the time. They'll quote me, timestamping and everything, and be like, what do you mean winning doesn't matter? I'm sorry to break it to you, man. It just does. The game doesn't matter because the next game is going to come out the next year. The systems and decisions and stuff that were made on those games also don't matter because we've seen time and time again, it is demonstrably true that a lot do not carry over. We miss out on things every single year. Every single time that we have something good, they just forget about it. It's like the dev teams don't even fucking talk to each other. Like, it's a big possibility believe that with this prestige system that comes out, even if everybody uses it this time around with Master Prestige and all that shit, gets great feedback overall, there is still no guarantee that it's going to be in the next Call of Duty after this
so
one.
like,
That's just
an example of this is like everyone really likes the weekly challenges and weekly events and weekly unlocks and the Jack conversion kits. So far, not in Black Ops 6.
what Call of Duty does. Definitely more dependent on who the devs are for the game for that year. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that overall. It is a classic prestige system, but it does have a little bit of an asterisk in there. And this is technically kind of older-ish information or whatever, but the game is coming out soon. And yeah, for sure, if it benefits me in the camo grind overall, which I think could, at the same time, I'm still going to have to experience it.
So the camo grind, what's actually going to help you with the camo grind is something that I'm talking about in my video later today on the main channel. But that is the fact that apparently you no longer have to level up your weapons to start grinding for camos.
Myself and see, you know, how long I'll be locked out of a weapon, how many different weapons, how long it takes to do each weapon. Can I just go and, you know, do a different weapon in a different class or category or whatever, instead of worrying about needing to go and buy a bundle to be able to just get to it faster? Again, defining what pay to win even actually means. To me, more of a pay to win thing would be, you would be able to go and pay for a bundle or something that ends up actually giving you an advantage in terms of the actual gameplay itself. Not in terms of the efficiency in which you can grind.
I'm not talking like I'm talking to Jev, but let me pretend like I'm talking to Jev. If I was talking to him right now and I wanted to ask him a question, I would want to ask, how would you feel if you could pay a certain amount of money and you can still prestige, but everything is unlocked every single time you prestige? Because eventually there is going to be an amount of money that does exactly that, because you can just buy all of the bundles and each of the bundles is going to be for a different weapon. So say you could pay $1,000 and every single time you prestige, everything is unlocked. Is that okay? Is that pay to win? Because it's a different way of looking at it.
Otherwise, that would mean that double XP tokens are pay to win and shit like that, and that's not the case. Basically, would you guys consider this pay to win? Personally, overall, I don't actually think that it's, quote, pay to win. I do think that it's pay for convenience, though. Pay for efficiency. Here's another thing, though. That would mean anything and everything that comes with the battle pass as well. This includes new weapons, at least in terms of their, you know, current design. A lot of people would technically have a lot of things perma-unlocked. To me, I think the good middle ground here is to have the bundle themselves, like the blueprint itself, perma-unlocked, but not the entire weapon.
This is what I said in my video. This is what Ace said in his video, is the blueprint should be unlocked, but the base version of the weapon is not. And you cannot change the attachments on that weapon until it is unlocked. That is what it should be.
What I understand, the full weapon along with the bundle is perma. Of course, you could get the perma unlock tokens by prestiging yourself, but again, this is a result of the way that they have monetized the game now. Don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily like this. I'm just explaining that I don't really think that it's overall, like, pay to win. It's Call of Duty. There's not really a pay to win scenario unless, like, a weapon actually does more damage, like some advanced warfare shit. Now, that's pay to win. This is coming from the guy that has opened hundreds of supply drop map sizes and stuff. I've seen some people complain about it, but again, I have my opinion on larger maps. They can obviously just add a larger map into the game later if they want, but again, I'm not going to vote for that map. That's just
nobody is.
Vote for it. And honestly,
I don't know where that came from, Jeb, but I agree with you.
Could still give a feeling of being a larger map whenever you go and compare them all, like, in a vacuum relative to each other. There is still going to be small, medium, and large. They classify them as small and medium in relation to the larger maps.
That's a very good point. There's still small, medium, and large. It's just large is smaller than the old school large
that they've made before. But if we have medium maps, some of the mediums being bigger mediums than the smaller mediums, but not necessarily classified as small maps, you can still think of a map as larger than other maps. They can name it whatever they want in the category, but again, relative to each other, there is still going to be larger maps. Anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on that whole thing. I'm happy the classic prestige system is back. It's not something that was absolutely needed for me or anything like that, but now I'll be able to value a lot of the levels and ranks now. Nowadays, I look at it and I see somebody that's, you know, level 1200 or whatever, and then they just get absolutely stomped. And that can still be the case whenever somebody's prestiging, it could still be the case, whatever, but something about prestiging just felt a lot more, well, prestigious, as opposed to just blindly leveling.
Because you actually have to level up everything every single time, and I think this new system is going to feel less rewarding, but it'll still be more rewarding than the crap system they have now.
On this game over the past, I don't know how many years at this point. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and yeah, it's been Jev, guys. Later.
All right, well, there it goes. Jev,
wow.
Jev told me that they're lying to me, and I've made a video on the same sort of thing on the main channel. I wanted to hear Jev's take on it, and it was similar to what I said. Like, again, it's not pay to win, but it's pay to something, and I'm not sure what that is. And then if you put it in the terms of, oh, well, if you could pay a certain amount of money and just never have things locked when you prestige, is that pay to win? And the answer is, I don't know. But I don't know. You can let me know what you think. But anyway, dudes, I gotta head out. I have things to do today, people to see, places to do. Going on a podcast later today. Got some house stuff to do, and I got a video to make. So I have a very busy afternoon. I still don't have any coffee. I'm still drinking tea. Like, this sucks. Whose idea was tea? It's not as good as coffee. What podcast? You'll have to wait and see. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say, so I'm just not. But someone in the Call of Duty community, I will just say that. Anyway, it's not Mr. Raffle Waffles. If I'm assuming one of you is gonna ask, it's not Milo. Anywho,